Well, I wanted to talk to you guys about something this morning that I know is probably going to strike some of the keto people and carnivore people a little wrong. One of the things that I've noticed since going carnivore is my sensitivity to not all carbohydrates, but my sensitivity to some carbohydrates have changed. I went 30 days, the month of January, back onto a ketogenic diet from carnivore, almost 1 year solid with very minimal keto foods added in, maybe maximum 5 times in 1 year. What ended up happening is I can't tolerate certain carbs now. And now that I've went carnivore, my reaction to vegetables are 10 times worse than what they were before. Going carnivore has healed my gut completely to the point where I don't have any digestive issues anymore. So carnivore did fix that. Keto couldn't even fix my gut lining completely because there was still a lot of vegetable matter in there that was not letting me heal properly. Now that I realize what's going on and I've been tracking the status of things and how I respond to things, I know now that having salads and things like that are very difficult for me. I cannot digest them completely like I did before. The first time I did this was about 8 weeks ago. You guys know I tried. Some of you that follow me, I had a salad and just wanted to see what the response was to it. And I almost got runny nose, watery eyes immediately. I had pressure behind my eyes. My response to it was not very good. The second time was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I had literally another salad. I went to the movies that night. Within a few hours after having that salad with dinner, I had a huge reaction to it. My nose was running more than it ever had. My eyes were real watery. Pressure behind the eyes again. I almost felt like I had the flu, and I literally left the movie early so I could go home and relax because I felt so sick. So now we go to our third attempt at this. Saturday I had my first, public keto presentation seminar, and afterwards one of the group members and a friend of mine on there decided that we wanted to go for some steaks for dinner. So we went to Texas Roadhouse. They were packed, so we turned around and went to Logan's. Just had a regular basic salad with a 12-ounce prime rib. I wasn't super hungry, so I got something small. Normally I'm at like 22 ounces. And I ate the salad. By the time I got home, about 2.5, 3 hours later, I pulled up in the driveway and I had felt so lethargic and so beat down, lack of energy, not being able to really move so well, and something was wrong. I knew immediately that I can't eat salads anymore. I cannot stand them anymore. I get energy from them in the beginning, and then all of a sudden I get sick. And I have a huge immune reaction to them, and it's leaving me like to the point where small paralysis almost. Like I had to go in, take all my clothes off, lay in the bed nude because my body temperature was so out of control. I felt like I was going to die, literally. I went and took my fever. I had 102.1 fever. I knew what was going on almost immediately. I hydrated, electrolytes, lots of water, covered up, turned the AC on. I couldn't get comfortable until almost 2 o'clock in the morning when I fell asleep. And at that point, I had sent a message to work saying, look, I may not make it on time. I don't know what's going on. So definitely had flu-like symptoms. But by the middle of the next day, after I was able to use the bathroom enough and throw up, I cleared everything out of my system enough to where I started feeling better. So here I am 6 days later, transitioning back into the carnivore diet and trying to do whatever I can not 6 days later, what is this, 4 or 5 days later, trying to do whatever I can to get back into complete carnivore and no vegetables in my system at all right now. So maybe later I can give this another attempt and see what happens. So far I find that there are certain vegetables I don't have a reaction to, like broccoli. I don't have a reaction to that. Asparagus, I don't have a reaction to that. Mushrooms, I do not have a reaction to them. Brussels sprouts kind of leave me a little bloated and gassy, but I'm still not sure on the reaction to them. But salads in general, I have to count it out. I cannot do it anymore. I will not be able to eat them because my body reacts to salads so bad that it just almost immediately tells me that it does not want it in its system. So going from a ketogenic diet to a carnivorous diet, you need to be very careful and probably cycle often if you can get results that way. But a lot of people find they can't cycle keto because they build up their gut flora for carnivore, and then when they cycle keto, it leaves them with diarrhea for days and very, very uncomfortable. So you have to be very, very careful. If you're going to do carnivore and keto, you might do like 4 or 5 days carnivore and then 2 or 3 days keto and then cycle those back and forth. But if you go straight carnivore for long periods of time, you might find that you don't ever go back to a proper transition, or you might find something's wrong, like you're desensitizing yourself to the leafy matter. That seems to be my biggest problem, is leafy matter. Talking to our instructor last night at my master gardening class, trying to learn more about the foods and stuff that we eat, that's one of the things that he says he will not consume. He will not consume leafy greens at all. There's just too much error for disease. There's too much error for bugs and stuff being on it because of how thin and how easy it is for them to consume leaves. If chemicals are sprayed, it's so much easier for them to actually suck in the chemicals. So there's a number of things that concern me with leafy greens in general, and the quality of how they're taken care of is not very good anyway. And by the time they get to our supermarkets, they've already sat so long that a lot of the flavor is lost, and they're not necessarily all that great for us in the grand scheme of things if you look at the bioavailability of nutrients in meat versus greens. So it's just something to be aware of, something to be concerned with. It's your journey. Please pay attention to it and engage yourself from a informational, wide spectrum standpoint. Don't be closed-minded to things, and definitely don't think that you understand exactly what you're doing just because you've been doing keto for a few years, because you're going to find you're pretty misinformed in general. So just please, please, please engage things. Engage things from a very, very, very open-minded, wide-spectrum standpoint. Okay, guys, be blessed. I'm not trying to make this video to tick anybody off, but I've noticed since I went carnivore that chances of desensitizing yourself to certain things definitely is a possibility. I've done it, and I've desensitized myself to certain foods that I used to be able to have that I cannot have anymore. So be very careful.